Hello. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Boris Bakal. Beautiful place of Asa Center on the final event of Earth Station's Development and Performance Arts Project, which Domino organization, Perforation Festival, Acto Festival from Bitola and Fru from Macedonia were developing together and offering to the young and not so young theater makers from all over the world. I'm also welcoming an experts who will help us to comment this presentation, because four projects will be presented here. I will present now the leaders of the project. I am presenting Sazbolt Tolnai from Subotica, Josipa Bubaš and Tomislav Čuveljak from Zagreb, Igor Zenzerović from Pula, and Maria Barna Lipovski from Belgrade, who will present their project, which we were developing in last couple of months, or more than almost 1 year. Here with us are also experts, different experts from different fields, which will help us understand where these projects at the moment are. I will start with Natasha Rajkovic. I'm really honored to have her here. She's a producer, dramaturg, director, and author of many fantastic theater and intermedia pieces here in Croatia and all over the world. Yeah. I'm also happy to have here Dan Oki, artist, filmmaker, and lecturer on UMass University in Split. I'm very happy to also have Ariana Lekic Friedrich. She's an artist and producer. And also we have here Kristina Lekovac from Skopje, fantastic actress, fantastic performer, and also dramaturg and author. And she's also lecturer on FDU University in Skopje. Here with us is also a great friend of us and collaborator, Filip Jovanovski, architect, but also set designer and director of very particular theater pieces. And also Zvonimir Dobrović, producer of Perforation Festival and a leader, artistic and leader of Domino organization. Thank you very much for being with us. So I am inviting you all to take a note that now we'll present a project by Maria Barna Lipovski.
Just a second, a lot of things have to work.
I have to, can I interrupt something? I forgot because we have also two other experts here present with us, but they are virtually here. They are in Gießen and Berlin. We have Victoria Iloshka, a choreographer and lecturer at University of Gießen. Thank you very much for being with us. And here we have a Sinisha Labrovic. He's in Berlin. Of course, we don't know, are they really there in Gießen and Berlin, but they are saying hello. Okay, maybe they're in another room, yeah. Thank you very much for being with us. And now Maria will present her project.
Just a second. Oh, it's on. Cool. Okay, so hello, everyone, dear viewers. I am, as you already heard, Maria Barna-Lipkovski, and I come from Belgrade in front of an organization, art and theater organization called Tri Grosha, or Three Penny in English. And that's our logo over there. And I'm going to present a project that I'm both an author of and a performer of. And you are the viewers and I'm the performer. And I hope maybe in the end of this pitch, we might become even something more. So, yeah, about the project, it's called Desi Bože iz mašine, or in Serbian or in English, a free translation, Deus ex Maki. Maki, because that's my nickname. Everybody calls me Maki. You can also call me Maki if you want. So this project I developed after years-long research in the field of digital performatives. Especially, I was focused on the digital performing in our everyday lives. So not arts, digital art performances, but how do we perform digitally? I would like to actually, with this project, contribute to the general digital literacy. And when I say digital literacy, I do not mean using programs that are already user-friendly, but actually trying to make people understand the economical and political powers that are behind the digital technology that we use today, as well as the social and psychological, and let's be brave and say metaphysical implications that this everyday use of digital technology has on our lives. And so far, I managed to hack, or we from Three Penny managed to hack this is going to be a hybrid action lecture performance. That's how I call it. And so far, I managed to hack, or we managed to hack, three Serbian traditional institutions to be on this project with us. The first is the National Theater of Belgrade. Then it's the Serbian Academy of Arts and Sciences. And of course, the Ministry of Culture, which also provided some, not very much, but some funding for this project, which is going to be realized in September and October this year. So, of course, this all wouldn't be possible without the Shadowcasters, who, after being a lifelong inspiration for my work, also kind of hosted to develop this project of ours or of mine into something, I hope, comprehensible. How does a hybrid action lecture performance look like? The thing is that it starts on the stage of National Theater. And there, the audience will be introduced to my digital copy. That's it. Hello. This digital copy will actually ask the audience. We are now, so to say, simulating the situation which is going to happen in the National Theater. So the digital copy will ask the audience, please, to join a Zoom call and put their headsets on, because the hybrid aspect of the performance is going to happen parallelly in material world and on Zoom. And also the headset is going to help us to minimize this charming and yet a little bit disturbing effect of delay that we have here, and will also allow me to manipulate the soundscape of the audience. So parallel to listening to my voice, it is also going to listen to music or some kind of other audio materials. And what will happen after that, we are going to go together to the streets of Belgrade, led by my voice, where the audience is going to slowly become aware of their own bodies as performing bodies. And they are going to use their own phones and cameras and microphones to actually perform in this performance in a way that they will become aware that there is one more audience following this performance on Zoom. And that is how they will understand that they are also performers, not just viewers. So we will go together and create this beautiful performance, and in the end up in a cafe where will we all sit down and chat and actually discuss what happened, and where the most important thing is for people to exchange the differences between the experience of non-physical viewing of a performance and physical viewing on the performance. And there they're going to become aware, all of them, that the whole performance was streamed also on a third platform, so that there is one more group of anonymous viewers. So even the ones who thought that they were the audience were performing in a performance. And this will come to the fact that what is the lived experience of us or of one is actually just a reality show for the others. So, as you can see, I am not an influencer from my not so apt use of these gadgets that I brought upon myself. And you could even say that I hate digital technology. I hate, or to be more precise, I hate the internet. And I hate internet because I love theater. And I'm a theater director by vocation. And in my view, theater and internet are opposed media. Because theater is mostly interested, as you all probably know, or most certainly know, with other and otherness. And internet, as we know it today, is interested with myself, my identity, and what I like to call sameness. And this is what I call, not that, but that, crypto vanity. And this is actually what my show is about, crypto vanity. So what internet also does is that it erases the difference that I made in the beginning between the viewers and the performers. So everybody is both a viewer and a performer in the frame of digital technology. And that is also what I like to call content. Zadovoljni sadržaj. So my dear content, please, let's make a nice selfie all together. For the Ministry of Culture, please try to enjoy now, show how awesome we are. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And we will take a screenshot now. Okay. Thank you, guys. You're very, very nice. Great audience tonight. Thank you. So actually, yeah, that is pretty much it. Maybe it is left to say that internet and I were born in the same age. So we were born both in 1989. And in this 32, or even worse, like 33 years almost already, wow. Internet kind of managed to conquer the world. Unlike myself. And it entered every aspect of human-to-human communication, both private, professional, intimate. And the thing is that you could even say that my hatred comes from jealousy. I am jealous of the internet. And I do not want to be just another digital user and develop apps for my performances and give more money to programmers. I mean, they already earn enough money as it is, whilst we are just picking up the crumbles from the project funding of ministries and others. And the thing is that I also don't want to be a digital loser. I want to use this technology in order to be able to hack it, so to say, like I hacked all those institutions. Hopefully they won't back out. So to hack it to find my own purpose. And that is why I ask myself, where is my God from the machine? Where are you, my God from the machine, who is going to come and like do something and give my life purpose and I don't know, like show me that I'm worth something and that what I'm doing makes sense. And the only thing that comes up and the only answer I can come up with is that it's you guys, my dear audience. It's you, and the only thing you can do to help me to find this. Oops! So you're lagging a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Well, the only thing you can do is just follow this link and send me some cash. Support this project, and you will finally show me that I exist. You can show us that actually, oh, well, it doesn't work, my trick. Well, that you exist. And that we are finally going to know where is my God, and that my life actually means and that I should perform. So just follow this link and give me some cash, please, and you will become my God, my God from the machine. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye. Exit.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Maria, very much for this inspirational talk. And I would now like to have some kind of other opinion on these gods of machine. So I would like to have Dan Oki here with me as a professor at university, which works a lot on new media, and you also worked a lot in new media. And I would also would like to have an actress and Kristina Lekovac afterwards. And also I would like to have Sinisha Labrovic as a commenter afterwards. So just prepare yourself. So give some kind of wrap up.
Okay. I mean, there are a couple of lines of my thoughts which basically went together with your performing lecture, hybrid, medialized, or whatever, how you call it. And I mean, one thing which really struck me is this relationship of the technologies of the self and the media, you know, how it works. And I think it is very nice how you basically play with this line between the technologies of the self in the so-called theater world, as you say, and then the medialized technologies of the self, which are basically narcissistic, you know, and they are machine produced, you know. So I think it would be good to emphasize this idea of autobiographied, medialized machinery, you know, which is very narcissistic and which runs regardless of you, and you are kind of trying to find your place in this huge world, and then you show basically that you and internet are basically the same generation, which is a nice metaphor. And I like this, how you perform this. I was just wondering on this real event, when you will make this event, you know, I was really puzzled because I made mainly in Amsterdam in 90s a lot of media art in the beginning of internet. So we made sites and a lot of performing with sensors and media and projections and web. And in that time, one of the sharpest thing was content, you know, and it's still today the same thing, you know. What is going to be the content of your performance during this event? And you can erase it. That's also okay. So you can play just with the idea of who is the audience, fragmentation of the audiences, their own relationships. And then you play basically this as you play feedback in music or whatever. But I think it would be worth thinking how to conceptualize the very content you want to perform in the context of this medialized structure, you know. So basically, this is my main idea, and also technologies of the self, in the sense how Foucault talks about technologies of the self, how it differs, you know, in the protocols machine to machine or man machine man, or this kind of stuff, and or in the theater where there are no machines, where there is just like person audience. So technologies of the self and the audience. Thank you very much.
It's a great talk. Thank you. I'm inviting Christina to also have a comment.
Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Maria. It was really... Where are you? Oh, here. It was a nice presentation. And also I'm happy for the way the project is developing, since we were really happy to be part of the initial stages of it. What really struck me now as I was following your presentation was that in the first second that your face appeared on the screen, I stopped following you and you were being here in front of me. And especially after these 2 years of constant zooming and whatever, I asked myself, what is it in me that like made me watch your face in the big screen while you were here in front of me talking? And as a performer, I was trying to imagine myself being you, following, leading these people through the city, and kind of struggling with their attention. When you have a live performer here and the proximity is here and everything that we yearned for in these 2 years, why are we looking at the screens? And maybe for me personally, I don't know, maybe this is interesting for you as a performer, since you are going to perform this, it's maybe even to play with that attention that always leads to the screen, even when we are now here. So that is something that this is like a comment, maybe it's nothing important, but maybe just that. And I'm really happy that you managed to hack these institutions. And also it is really interesting for me that the performance is going to start in the theater. I think that it's a really good for the audience. It's part of this interesting play that you are doing with the audience. That would be.
Okay, thank you, Christina, very much. And I'm now inviting Sinisha Labrovic to give his comment too.
Okay, I'm not very good in internet and this kind of technology, so I don't know. But it's obviously that the project will be presented and resolved as it is presented now. So you know that's the people who is thinking that they are the audience, they becoming the content of the I believe it even on 2 levels. Yeah, and then the third, I don't know, it can go like babushka, that content audience is, I don't know, endless, which is nice, kind of metaphor. But I'm also concerned about what Dan said, and it's content as itself. And so when you start in theater and then go to the city, if you left this kind of open to the public as itself, and if it is not earlier prepared for this walk, yeah, then I believe it could be dangerous that no one shows or no one show interest or something, you know. So it's for me the main danger of the project as it is presented is the question which public will show itself in the project and then become, let's say, and then come to the streets of Belgrade and then join you on the streets of Belgrade, and then the second public which is watching the first public and all this. And I don't know how you could also resolve this kind of situation in which first public going on the streets, but in the same time they are starting to be a content. They are starting to be watched by other of other public. So this kind of things needs to be resolved. And yeah, the content of the work and everything, if it is left to the people just by the coincidence or some kind of interaction between them, I'm not 100% sure that it could be fruitful. So I believe this is the most, how can I say, dangerous thing. So maybe choose some spots of Belgrade, which is interesting, or maybe some specific day when you go on the street already giving you some content which can be interesting to the audience. Yeah, and why not? I don't know, to prepare some number of people who could join you, and if it is left to just as it is presented, if it is just left that you have public after public after public, it looks as a metaphor great, as a metaphor on every level, but I believe that there is a serious danger that you will, after a while, you will not have public at all.
Okay, thank you, Sinisha. I think it was really a great comment. But I think as we chose to have these kind of short presentations, it was not also possible to explore all the layers of the walk itself. I know that Maria already prepared a map and a really particular spot she will play with. So I think this will be the resolved thing to do. Thank you very much for listening. I know that everybody here had his own thoughts and wishing to comment, but we will have a nice talk afterwards. I'm now inviting Josipa Bubaš to present her project. Okay.
Hi to everybody. As Boris introduced me, you know my name, we most know each other. Okay. So I started to work on the project that is called Telling Lies, which is named after David Bowie's song from the album Earthling. And actually it sounded really good for what I wanted to explore. It was like Corona period, and many alternative versions of truth appeared. And of course, this confusion between very healthy skepticism in official truth versions and like really imaginary alternative facts was really booming. And also I found myself really inspired and interested in all these kind of the strangest and the sickest versions of truth. And I found myself Googling it and exploring it. First phase of the project was actually research. So actually I finished it. It was funded by Ministry of Culture through the program of digitalization and creation of new content in digital media. In this first phase, I was like really reading literature and reading a lot about cyber psychology and also post-truth theories and like roots of post-truth and things like that, because I really wanted to understand. I was confused because I didn't want to be like this woman who trusts official versions, but then all other were also so crazy. And I wanted to know how it actually functions and what it happens when everything dissolves. I made together with Dali Boriakos, who is a PR expert, we made this kind of, sorry, I'm going ahead of myself. We made like this research, how the social media work, how they medialize all these kind of alternative versions and so on and so on. But actually, what was like the art project? It was my fake identity. It was Laura, who is neoconservative, also like a woman who is self-help expert, and also having like really neoconservative attitudes, prone to so much different conspiracy theories. And I also find this beautiful word, which is like conspirituality, which is a mixture of conspiracy theories and all esoterics insights, which some are like really crazy and some are actually maybe has something in it. And I developed this really conservative woman who is actually at the same time chauvinist, and also at the same time really religious, and at the same time skeptical toward official truths, like pro QAnon kind of woman. And she also like offers life advices. And because this improvisation really didn't work a lot, I had difficulties of finding her. Then I wanted to also do, wanted to do focus groups. So we made 3 focus groups. First was in KNAP on the subject of distrust to official truths, on the subject of internet influencers and conspiracy theories and so on and so on. The second was at the Academy of Fine Arts with younger people. And the third was actually in a private setting where female, mostly sociologists, were invited who are really prone to conspiracy theories. So like you could hear everything about Trump and Putin and things like that, really crazy, with a lot of wine and things like that. So it was made with sociologist Ivana Habush. And then actually, because this took me more to like kind of thinking through and get me off the trail of creative process, I decided to do workshop with Denis Patafta with his theater group. And we used the method of hot chair. So each of the participants in the workshop was like put in the hot chair with the identity of of some kind of influencer. So this was like this research phase that is now over. And this will be presented at the symposium in September in Museum of Contemporary Art about digital identities and body in digital era. Yes, and this was like actually, so we can maybe, I started with this really conservative female, and then through focus groups, I realized she has to be like really more relaxed, and she has to be something like this most politician Miron Miletic or something like that, or like Ana Bučević or influencers like that who are really like saying problematic things, but are really like looking very hipster and contemporary and really like easy to talk to. So this is like, this is just an extract. I made several of these videos with improvised text on like abortion and religious worldview and things like that. But this is not the end. This is just the end of this first phase. The second phase will be, okay, well, okay, we can play it. It was just like, something else. Ne znam šta. Okay. Okay, maybe it's so it's just like impro. She introduces herself and she says that we have to fight against all this kind of things that dissociate us from the higher truth, and then we have to be true to real traditional role of woman and things like that. So okay, maybe we don't have to return to this. And then this is the end of the, this is Laura at the moment. And in the next phase, I decided to use artificial intelligence open source GP3, I think it's, and together with Michael Giba, who is really like working on something similar. Okay, I don't know why this, we will feed in this artificial intelligence texts from different influencers, and this program will build a text that I will perform as Laura. So it will probably be kind of nonsense text, I guess. And also all the time in the first phase, and also now in the second phase, I'm writing the diary, sometimes as Laura, sometimes as me communicated with Laura. And I think in this second phase will be my diary, my communication with Laura. This is also kind of with this strange worldview, my communication with this strange worldview, but also like my communication with artificial intelligence, and also my communication with me manipulating my identity. So it's like it has several layers. And also at the end, I think I will try to make a performance in some kind of conference space. I will make 10 podcasts as Laura together with artificial intelligence. Probably, I hope there will be some comments and I will interact with people. And then I will also use this. Then at the end of the project, I will have like in a non-theater space performance where Laura will dissolve with glitches, visuals and things like that. Also with her multiplying nonsense talk all the time. And I don't know, I have to build these strategies. It's not finished yet. And also I would like to do publication with like documentation of the project, but also with this kind of theoretical insight, because there are so many like really interesting stuff about this niche. And I think it would be also nice to maybe put the documentation in exhibition. So I don't know, I'm not sure, will there be like and performance and publication and exhibition? Maybe there will be something of it, but these are like possible outputs of this character. So yes, and of course, at the end, I have to say that it was a lot of help from all the mentors from Earth Stations, and I really like this project was built and filled with all the inspiration from mentors. So I want to thank Shadowcasters and Domino and Fru for that. And that is it, yes. I don't know, was it clear? Because they are like, I'm a bit confused. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Josipa. Thank everybody for this support. I also thank Tomislav Čuveljak for being with us here as a collaborator of the project. And I would like you now to invite Natasha Rajkovic and also afterwards Zvonimir Dobrovic and Victoria to help us with having some kind of round view of this. Also, okay. You can keep it.
This I have to
yes.
keep?
Yes.
Okay. But before I start, I have one question for Josipa. Is that okay? You said it doesn't matter in this moment what will be the final product of it. So performance is not the main goal, or because you build a character. Yeah. So she could walk around us anyway without performance, you know. Yeah. Did she?
She didn't. She was just walking through home in a character, but actually I didn't went out with it. Yeah. With Laura, being Laura, but I'm planning to test her in different.
Well, I think that should be your next step.
Yeah.
To try with her, not only, you know, when I say walk around, I mean, you know, you can call very important phones. Just pretending that you are this person. So you have a lot of possible ways to do it, you know, because you obviously worked on her, like, and she can be that what they already find out with this computer who took all our words and you know that, yes.
I think it's this, do you think on this program I'm planning to use this? Like,
yeah, but that was done, you know, with all over the internet, and it was a very bad person behind this computer selecting, you know, our comments, words, and so it's very, very complicated situation. I have some articles about it. So it's interesting what you did. I think you should try to see first what you can do with this character and why she's existing at all, you know?
I think that I wanted to use her, but this generate artificial intelligence text just to put on her, like, but not maybe entire, just to play with it, like take some extras. I have to see how it works, I don't know.
No, but it's interesting because you have some kind of a psychology behind her already. So it's like you starting a right drama, you know, because the character is the main thing. So now you need a story for her. But I think maybe to see what's going on with her, and that all people you are, I know, contacting, talking, and blah blah. Maybe Laura has some own story to say. You know, that's it. That's all. Okay.
Fantastic. Thank you, Natasha, very much, and thank you for in making our dramaturgy more porous here. So I'm inviting Victoria to take a floor and give some maybe other point of view.
Yes, thank you, Josipa. I was also a bit giggling as if I wanted to be invited to comment on this. Why? Because of my choreographic practice. My first question was like embodying a conservative body. Oh no, like why do we need that? So I will start from that. I'm just curious also to hear, what do you want to learn? What do you want to experience from that? Why do you think is it necessary or important? Because in one moment I was like more thinking, maybe you should be a dominatrix who will actually sexually heal some radical right-wing dudes. And from that I was also, I'm just like, I'm noticing a bit of a danger of creating and giving platforms to thoughts and ideas that most of the time we will fight against. So even though I'm saying this, I like the paradox. I'm asking also, what is the difference between as a subject and Laura? And to that also, because you mentioned the body and the movement, the gestures that you want to apply inside of your body. I'm also curious, what is the difference? Like, can you also recognize the difference between the gestures that you have as Josipa and Laura? So, yeah, I liked also there is a lot in the content. Maybe you can also think to kind of give Laura and Lola that are actually this paradox that are happening, this like also just to say how big paradox is to be a LGBT person who is in the radical right. For example, this clashes because you are using also the conspirituality as a term, or what are the clashes of today in these thoughts and topics? Yeah, I like that she's self-care expert. To be very honest, there is something there. I wish you luck.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. It was really good to have this talk, and I'm also inviting Zvonimir Dobrovic, who will probably have some other point of view, as usual.
Okay, I actually remember this project because I was talking to you when it was starting. I like it where you went with it, I have to say. And it reminds me, of course, of Kellyanne Conway, because she's the one who invented the alternative facts or put it out there. I just, by chance, read her book, Here is the Deal, where she explains how she comes to this alternative facts, and it was actually part of a bigger statement. But the point somewhere is this post-truth. The facts are real somehow, but they're just put together in a different way to tell a different story. So the truth does not really exist in that sense. You choose what to say, what not to say, and that's how you create this alternative reality. And then I also understand Laura could be a Croatian Karen. This idea of in America, this Karen who is very conservative woman who usually is against everything that's foreign. So I like that you gave a face to something to a society or to a person that we live around. We are others than Karen, but Lauras are the ones ruling this society in Croatia. So I have a couple of thoughts on this. First, it's great that you're feeding her stuff from the internet, because that's how they get educated. So this is the thoughts that they have, and that's how they build these thoughts. And I have to say that I was thinking when you were saying that Laura in the end dissolves, and I remember this when we talked also before. But maybe you dissolve, because you will maybe learn that Laura has more opportunities in this Croatia than you. And I am thinking, you put her in these clothes to make her more, this is our Minister of Culture. If Laura could get a job at Ministry of Culture sooner than you. And I was just thinking, go far with it. And this was great what you said, Natasha. Take her out for a walk. She should go to panel discussions. Yeah, you'll find a great job. Here you could even get elected to office. So I like this. I would suggest, see where it goes. Maybe Laura writes a book about you, that she evolved. Maybe she is the evolved of all of us. Anyway, I'm just kidding, but you can go far with it. And I think this would be great. I would love to see Laura in this kind of discussion to say something about her or other, so see you in Hod za život next year, baby.
Okay, great. It was really a great. And thank you, Zvonimir, to also make us think from completely other point of view, but also connecting all this. And I also want to take Siniša Labarić for listening, because he, as a kind of future Minister of Culture, because he was trying many times. So you see, in fact, that it's possible to give your person, which is a character, a real goal. Yeah. And Siniša did it. Okay, I'm going to the next project. It's a project by Igor Zenzerović, and I hope you are ready to present your show. So let us listen, Igor. Igor, please come here.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, greetings, fellow Earthlings. My name is Igor Zenzerović. I come from Pula. First of all, I would like to thank, well, everybody already thanked Bacaci, Sienka, and Domino, but I would also like to thank all the mentors who personally helped me clear and crystallize the idea and the performance itself. So thank you, Kiki. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Bill, who's not here. Thank you, Adrienne and Zvonimir. Thank you, Boris, of course. Thank you to everyone, and thank you to all the lectures that we had during our mentorships. Very informative. So as I said, my name is Igor, and the name of my project is, which roughly translates to redacted. Before I start, just a little background on me, some specifics, which I think will show you a continuation that leads up to this performance. I studied cultural studies, social in cultural anthropology and comparative literature, which I think gives me a certain or a specific kind of social and cultural understanding of certain events that are happening in the last 20 years, but it also gives me the opportunity to develop ideas through a multidisciplinary perspective. But in the last years of my so-called professional career, I would like to just spotlight three kind of performances that I think showcase this idea, that this method and idea that is going to continue on into this performance redacted. So, for instance, I did the performance called SoCal or SoCal Tarot, which is a performative tarot reading. SoCal as in Alan Sokal. Some of you might know him. He had a very specific kind of engagement within the social sciences. Then there was this performance called Alive, which was developed together with the V2 Institute in Amsterdam through the workshop, or actually through the residency on stable media. It was a kind of a bio performance that took the method of one-on-one participation. So it was me and a participant. There was this intense questioning that tried to question where the fine line of living is, questioning if the grains of kefir are alive, which, by the way, they are, and they tend to shrivel up and die when exposed to light. So that's why there's a scanner. Something more recent, I did a performance which got a lot of traction for the nights of performance, or actually the festival preparations, together with through the mentoring of Natasha Rajkovic, who is also here. It's also a kind of a performance that questioned intimacy, but also dealt with what I called effective landscapes, or actually how to manipulate effective landscapes in the spectator, him or herself. So as I said, this was I wanted to show you this because I think it shows the methodological continuation, because this performance of this piece that I want to present to you is actually questioning something along the lines, together with Josipa, but on the far end of the spectrum, because it's questioning the potentiality for conspiratorial thought. Conspiracy, as we know, is not only all around us, but even intellectuals from the whole spectrum, people can actually have some sort of conspiratorial beliefs. And that's why I think this potential that lies within in the outer world, in reality itself, is quite interesting, and it has a lot of space for us to manipulate and also play around with. Also, I'm very much interested in the pathology of othering, where we have this them and us, the them as in the Bilderberg group, the Masons, the Jews, and whatnot, which is quite interesting, and which I plan to explain to you how I plan to actually use it, or how I plan to materialize this pathology. And lastly, but not the least important, is the structure of secrecy within the space that is already overcrowded with white noise. It's something I like to explain a little bit further, but yeah, let me take you through the performance itself. I think I should start by explaining how the performance is being advertised, because it's the first level of secrecy. The audience will be informed that a performance is taking place, and it will be advertised as a secret showing by a performer, preferably female. In order to get to the place, they will need to call and arrange a pickup through a telephone line that will be available in the advertisement. But in reality, they will be the performance they will join without even knowing will be within the ride itself. So the car ride is about 15 minutes long. The performance can be, I'm the performer and the driver. The performance can be done in Croatian, English, and German, possibly Italian. And the performance is advertised as going through, starting at 5, let's say 5, and ending at 8, which gives me enough time to get through at least 40 people in one day or one evening. So as we arrange the pickup location, 3 passengers arrive. The driver also arrives with the car. The car is equipped with a walkie-talkie and a car radio. The driver also a bumper sticker on the car which says, "Do your own research." The car is spotless, immaculately clean, but you notice that somebody's probably living in it. The walkie-talkie is in order for the driver to have a conversation with the operator who is organizing the logistics of other drivers, which of course there aren't any. The car radio also serves purpose, but let's get this out of the way first. This conspiratorial thought. This is a kind of something I took a picture in Pula, which actually I think showcases pretty much what I mean by the potentiality of conspiratorial thought. In our own raw materiality, each and every object has this potential. I use this example because I think it loudly explains how this potential works. For non-Croatian speakers, it says, we have data, we know what you want. It's an advertisement, I don't know for what, maybe A1 and something other. But this and other examples like it, from traffic signs that are shaped like triangles, from graffitis, from historical buildings and places that are located within the city itself where the performance will take place, all have this possibility of being interpreted through a conspiratorial thought. Now, how does this actually work? The performance has 3 levels, narratively speaking. The first level is the driver himself. The driver does 2 very important things. Firstly, he develops this dramaturgy of high risk, which is basically provoking the passengers to converse through chit chat, through local topics, but all the while always producing paradoxes, logical, causal fallacies, cacophony, lies, xenophobia, fear-mongering, all the most important elements for a conspiratorial thought. The second level is the communication between the driver, the radio, the car radio, and the operator on the walkie-talkie. This second level of narrative is overcrowded by white noise. You can hear it, but I put some white noise here. The white noise I'm talking about in Pula, you don't have this problem. In Pula, we have like in all Croatia, we have this third national program, HRT, which because of Italian satellites, high frequencies, is often disturbed, very much so that it's almost inaudible. Unfortunately, I listened to it for many years and became kind of used to this white noise. And the white noise is kind of a very specific metaphor, very broad metaphor that I think can be used in almost all forms of communication that are happening in the performance itself. So when you call the operator, you have this clicking white noise that happens before and after the communication. The radio itself, which will play a round table of theorists, sociologists, psychologists, conspiracy theorists that are discussing some conspiracy theories, are also being eaten by an oscillation of white noise. And the third most, I think, probably the most important narrative level is the level of superimposed and artificial realities that are going to happen in the car and outside of the car. Namely, the performance is not only the drive itself, it is also a structuring of this conspiratorial reality through the first two levels, and the third level being the superimposing of certain conspiracies on the outside world. This could be literally put in, for instance, in the beginning, as the passengers enter, the first question, and I think you all driven taxis or had drivers who like to talk, would be, so what are you guys vaccinated with? And already here you have a jumping board for other conspiratorial narratives. But outside of the car, there are many interesting things happening, whether we know it or not. This blur, this kinetic scene that is going by fast is filled with either potentially artificial situations, but also with real artificial situations, which would be which are imposed by the artist, by the author, or actually me. By that I mean, imagine yourself driving and stopping on a red spotlight. The driver, as a culmination of a, let's call it an act or of a conversation or a topic, starts to talk to you about criminality. They say that in this day and age, criminals are kids with hoodies and laptops, but I don't agree. It's people in business suits in broad daylight. At that specific moment, we are on a red stoplight. On our right, there is a bench, and on the bench there is a businessman with his suitcase on the floor, with his phone. And another businessman could probably sit on the bench, and the first one could just pick up the other one's suitcase. So this is a scene, or rather a artificial reality that I want to spread around this route that we are going to take. Some are exaggerated, like for instance, the one that I just told you. Others are subtle, as in gazes and looks and stares that are being focused on the car itself. Others are quite strong, as in the idea of, for instance, when conversing about the theory of simulation. So in, something stopped. The car crashed, yeah. I think this is the beginning, yeah. So this is the structure of the performance. Just to give you a glimpse in where I'm at currently, I have no funding right now, but I have a invitation to the Zadar Snova Festival to perform this performance, and also at a very small art festival in Amsterdam next year, Zadar Snova now in August. I plan on asking for funding at the Ministry of Culture and Kultura Nova probably. But I also like to point out that this performance, as it is right now, is modally open. That means I plan on reviewing and evaluating the performance every time a performance takes place. So I hope at a certain point, I hope to arrive at a procedural kind of let's say, structure, which I can develop or disseminate with other drivers through other cities. So yeah, thank you for your patience. Thank you for actually being patient, because it's not a cohesive structure. It has a lot of things happening. As I call it, it's a big piece. It's a small piece with big intentions. So thank you very much, and please help me develop this further.
Thank you, Igor. Okay, we will have a next round of comments. I invite Adriana to come, and I also would like you, Philip, to join us. And Natasha, I would like to hear your thoughts about this. As you know the Igor very well, so probably you will have kind of wider also. So Adriana, please join us.
Yes. Thank you. So this might be a little subjective because I really like your work, Igor, and I was following your work for quite some time now. I think it's really interesting that you and Josipa chose a similar topic. You are working on potentiality, while Josipa is creating an internet persona. I really actually wanted to comment on Josipa's performance, but I will talk to her later because I really liked it. And Josipa, go as far as you can. But Igor, in your case, I think it's really interesting. I think it's well planned. But the thing that I see as a problem maybe is the structure. So you first have the people who will contact you on a number. There's a female voice answering the phone and arranging the tour. But who will these people be? Will there be tourists? Will there be local citizens? And are you sure that you are targeting the right audience for what you are expecting to do? The second thing, you will be driving them for 15 minutes, if I understood correctly. And I'm not sure that that's enough time to develop enough strong argument as you intended it to be. And of course, there is always this fact that there is a group leader. So if you have 15 people in the bus, there will always be the loudest one. And of course, the loudest one will be the one who will engage with you. But I think that you should maybe just think of ways to engage the rest of the audience as well, because potential for conspiracy is something that will be happening in that bus. So you will probably have a leader or two leaders or three leaders, but maybe it would be really interesting to hear the other 12 people in the van. So I think from my point of view, that's the most interesting part of your performance. And this will be the greatest output, just to see really how that potentiality works. I didn't really understand the part with the other van and car, sorry, and how this communication will work. And there
is no other.
Yeah, I know. There is no other. But what will be their input into your performance? So, is it just white noise, or is it a conversation of some kind?
It's a conversation filled with white noise. Also.
Oh, okay, great. So that might be something also to explore, just to see, because in 15 minutes you have to. I love your opening question. Your opening question is the one that sets things on fire. But then you have to keep it going, keep it moving. I mean, Hillary is still currently holding children underneath New York for 4 years now. So, yeah, just keep pushing it till the end. That's, that's always my advice. So, whatever we say now, I think all three of you already have your concepts, and follow your gut. I think all of the three projects have great potential. And well, this is just a suggestion and just a couple of questions. but I really think all of the performances are really actual, are really in the moment where we live now, and I wish you the best of luck. So yeah.
Thank you, Ariana. I think it was really a good comment, and I hope it will also contribute to the project itself. Philip, you did so many site-specific projects. This is also a site-specific project, so please join us in a way. So how you see what is going on?
Okay, because I know the project, we developed in several phases, and we talked so much with Igor. I'm happy that he developed it. So I have a similar maybe dilemmas as we were talking. Maybe what makes this project like theatrical somehow? That's my question. So I think maybe it's not enough this driving. Maybe there should be more interventions during this route. We were talking about this, but the form of these interventions can be maybe some reenactments of the scenes, or maybe we were talking to guide the visitors or the audience on some hidden places. Maybe I agree with the duration. I think also this 15 minutes is not enough. It should be maybe longer. Also, we were talking maybe, I don't know how it's possible, is that to meet maybe the audience at the end, to have some twist in the scenario, like to some kind of, to realize that they're not alone, maybe. Like we were talking maybe the reference of the Kubrick Side Shot. You remember the end on some anonymous party. Maybe this kind of twist can be this theatrical moment at the end. We were also talking about, I'm just thinking now, to end maybe the project in some theatrical space, like maybe to end on the stage. So my general comments are on the duration, maybe on this quoting of theater. What is theatrical here? Maybe the context of if you present it in some theater festival, that will give more precise, how to say, directions. And also I like the opening. And maybe the opening can be the how to say, you should develop all narrative on this, because so important issue and very contemporary now about the vaccination. So you can make like monodrama, like huge monologue on this, or maybe put some light inside the taxi. I don't know. I'm just or some red curtain maybe, or some interventions in the. That's my. So good luck with the projects, and
thank you, Philip, very much. I think that's something which also gives a new light on Igor's performance, and this idea of twist. I mean, maybe also it's a question of how to connect the audience from different repetitions. Yeah. So maybe Natasha, please join us.
How many people are audience?
So the car can take 3 people, but if I do it for 3 hours straight, 15, it comes to 40.
No, in the one drive. Three of them.
Yeah.
Are they random or they're together?
No, they're the ones who organize. The audience has to organize themselves.
Yeah, because I think the most important question here is to whom are you talking? If you are talking to the people thinking like you, that can be very boring, you know. If you are looking for a people you want to change their mind, then you have to make some other effort in this project. You have to find, you know, group of these people somehow, I don't know, like Schlingensief did once, you know, to take neo-Nazis and work with them. You know, that's because you are alone with the 3 people in the car. 15 or more or less doesn't matter. You know, then what will be your opening if the person is completely sane and, you know, don't want to talk to listen to this again and again, you know? That's the problem. Also this looking out of that's Felic did, you know, with the bus touring through the all places in the Zagreb where the peoples were killed. So he made a tour of the murders in Zagreb. You know, the tour is the route of your drive is very important too, and you have to be clear where, why are you taking people that way. That's also, so it's a question what you want with that, you know. That's for me the most important question. Also, that's for you, Josipa. The question when you want to criticize something, you have to be aware that in theater are coming people thinking very like you know, and they are not the ones you have to do. Yeah, and to make them shock or something, you know, maybe to help us to find a way to handle these people, you know, we want, but not to do this to us. That's there. You have to find your audience. You have to find them somehow. I don't know. Go to them, like you said, to Markichka, like Laura. Go to people. You need to change. You know, to taxi drivers who didn't want to put masks. So that's all.
Yeah, I think it was a great comment. Thank you very, very much. I'm sorry, maybe a little. Yes, that's also great. I just a sec, Sinisha, we have time. I think it's all these comments I think are really contributing, and we will all have also time in the end to add for the projects you didn't comment. We are now just pushing this. So yeah, Sinisha, go.
Now, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to say that I agree with with almost everything was said, or with everything. And 15 minutes, of course, I also wrote here as a problem, just that Igor can think about this. You know, the time of the performance, and there is also for me to maybe think how you could enter and how you could go out of the performance, and what it means for the people who will be in the car, who will be attending to performance, because you should think also, okay, there is this invitation to attend to some performance of some woman, which is the fake invitation, just to get them in the car. But then later, you know, you have performing some topics which maybe you will try to discuss in the car, and then you will have just, you know, on the side, which can be really nice. But also the very important thing for me is how the people who is attending, who are a part of the performance in the car, how they will understand this all this together later. So will they on the end know that everything was kind of artificial reality, or you will left them that they are convinced, you know, in the conviction that everything was reality, which is also for me one of the most important things, you know, how they will understand what will happen in the car, you know. And then also to resolve this thing, why they are not driven to the place where they will had to be driven, you know, to this performance of, I don't know, some woman or something, some hidden things, you know. Okay, that could be resolved also easily. It's cancelled or something, but still you must think really on why and how you will resolve this question, artificiality and reality, which can for them which can be really very important, and some of them could be disturbed, but you know, by the things that they are part of some thing which is different I believe that we understand, yeah, what I want to say.
Yes, thank you, Sinisha. I think it's a great question. We have also Danoki who wants to comment. That's great. Just a sec. I want to just to put something to wrap this a little bit, because several questions were asked about connectivity between the audience in the car and the end of performance, you know.
I didn't get to say the end.
But the end and this where they are going can also be part of your project, yeah. So Danoki, please join us.
So I have just two kind of very basic, simple ideas to share with you. One is that it would be quite interesting to, let's say, put an advertising in the media that some taxi facility is giving free rides. You know, so in this sense, you can get a very wide kind of audience. What Natasha was saying is basically then you can have different kinds of audience. And then the second idea, which I would like to share with you, is that maybe you can engage some kind of a conservative radio, which has the audience, which would be the ideal target of being addressed. You know, so and then you can broadcast basically from the car to the conservative radio, you know. So if those two kind of can help a project being contextualized.
Yeah, that's why we are here. That's why Earth Station is meant to be. That we are really still working, and because all of us, we are working in theater. We know that it's always a process. So thank you all for this. And we will still work on this. I think it's a great comments, and I think a lot of the project which were presented before, Igor, also could gain something from these comments you give. So now we have honor to invite Szabolcs Tolnai. Sabi, please join us on the stage. And okay.
Hello, I'm coming from more classical background. I'm a theater director and professor in university and film director. And I think my presentation will be more classical. But I would like to say thank for Bacaci Sienki and Boris and to Domino and everybody who worked with us in this period. So I'm sorry, I will read my text, but I will try to look very natural. So, as I see, the world is searching for a new ideology that would lead us out of the dead end of a consumer society and that is destroying the planet. I think that instead of combining and restoring already failed ideologies, we have to start listening to what the earth, wind, plants, stone, and meats tell us as a collective experience. Every place and every space has its own metaphysical spirit, which it radiates. My goal is to create and develop a series of immersive theater performances in the form of bicycle routes. It should be a combination of a classic theatrical performance with elements of pervasive games, psychodrama and art therapies, where the actors perform and lead the participants through the journey through specific tasks. Thus, the play can become an inner journey, an initiation ritual, and an adventure trip, in the same time a presentation of a historical and cultural heritage. In this case, I will try to use one example to show what I mean by the metaphysical radiance of a certain space, which would be the starting point of the play. The stories that would be used as a starting points would be drawn from the history and micro-mythology of locations, as well as the literary heritage of the region itself. The choice of the location happened after a study of various locations in Istria. I decided on the surroundings of Labin, an area with rich mining and industrial heritage, which was started in the 17th century in an extremely poor region until then. Mining under horrendously difficult circumstances seemed like a saving grace for the inhabitants. Although it's still depending on the circumstances, the journey would start from the port of Bršica, where once women carried coal from the mines on their heads, and later horses pulled wagonettes. At one point, Bršica was the largest port for loading goods in Italy after Genoa, and at the beginning of the 21st century, it became known as a place for loading animals within inhuman conditions. The first impression upon encountering this valley is an expressed feminine principle. I will make just yes. The fertile and green valley, which narrows the single point where the mines were dug and the city of Rasha were built, is like a torn worm and a sexual organ from where the small Rasha river flows, flowing towards the sea like urine. Hills and mountains rise above it, and on which the city of Labin itself sits like a head. So it really reminds us to a feminine body. The road further leads us across the valley of the Rasha River towards the city with a special history. In 1936, Mussolini regime built a town for miners. Rasha, the youngest town in Croatia, built by convicts who refused to fight in Abyssinia. Exploitation of workers was a common feature of all regimes. During the time of the Austro-Hungarian authorities, Taylorism was introduced, which is the name for the total control of workers on scientific grounds, on which the work model of today's largest corporation is based, where every movement is rationalized, turning people into machines. Due to physical attacks and beatings of members of labor union, the first anti-fascist uprising in the world and an attempt to self-organize workers called the Labin Republic broke out in this place in 1921. Through the use of telephone applications, the participants would have the opportunity to see the layering of history through the use of augmented reality technology, such as the opening of the city from the fascist authorities, as well as some recorded scenes that are part of the improvement of the plot. During Yugoslavia, in the belief of creating a new world, the miners pushed the norms to the limits of their own physical endurance, but they also created factories that gave the miners' wives opportunities to work, just as the workers also had certain privileges until the disappearance of new sources of coal and the factories shut down. After the first phase, which involves the live performance with actors, in the second phase, the performance would move to a phone application through which the participants would receive voice instruction and maps. Today, Russia is a deserted place. The question is what actually could and should be the Labin uprising today for me? What is fascism today? What is resistance, and is it even possible? That is the main or hidden theme of our play. I think that this metaphysical, the Kyriakos emptiness, which is physically tangible here, is the best starting point to think about it. The Kyriakos himself described his art as a metaphysical because it shows the world hidden behind the real. He developed this theory by removing all common associations from his subjects and placing them in a new and unusual environment. What will I love if not an enigma? This is the question that the young artist wrote on his self-portrait in 1911. In this emptiness where the ideologies happen most intensively, that should be offered what art should and can offer. Sanctification through journey and an enigma which is coming from the creative rethinking of environments. In the 1940s, an explosion of coal dust buried 186 miners, which is also the biggest mining tragedy in the history of Italy. The Italians considered the dead to be Croats, and the later Yugoslav state held the victims to be Italians. Or it was said that they were fascist, and later tragedies were frequent also. The initial story around which the play's fable would be built is based on this. It is a true story which happened here about a young couple in love, the fiancé who decided not to go down into the mine, but to buy and give a ring to his bride. In the end, he still came down so that one day he could be with her more when he got married. And he stayed down forever. The bride could not find her beloved among the burnt people who were unrecognizable. The main character is a girl who goes in search of her fiancé, and she doesn't believe in his death and looking for him in the sky, on earth, and underground. It is an internal journey in her soul and in her body, so that our journey actually takes place in a woman's imagination or in a woman's body. If we talk about the sky as well as seafaring, there are very important analogies with the underground, because miners had to know astronomy very well as sailors. They had to know the division of the sky and the direction of the winds according to which where the underground veins was marked. After emerging into the light, she arrives to the white city, Russia, bathed in the sun, which is almost the same with this word as a kind of inverted word of mirror. She finds her fiancé in the city square. He does not recognize her. She begs him not to go to the mine again and gets a day from him to spend with him. What is the meaning of the one day that represents a whole life of us, and how would we use it if it is the questions that arises? Looking for an answer to that question is one of the tasks of the participant. The search for the beloved in the sky and in the bowels of the earth is an archetypal story on which some great themes from mythology are based, from Gilgamesh to the myth of Orpheus and folk fables with shamanistic origin. It is important to think and thematize what tourism is. It is a displacement from the environment we are used to spending time in a new environment and returning to our usual living space. Relocation itself changed the state of consciousness, where after returning, we see our usual surroundings from different angles. Tourism can be divided into quantitative or quality tourism. Quantitative or mass tourism destroys our environment. A movement that does not contribute to change is just an imitation of a movement. It is senseless, and in huge numbers, we are talking about huge damage on a global level. Tourism as a metaphysical ritual should ennoble people as much as possible. This refinement should happen in two directions, because traveling people can also refine the space. I believe that if we give it attention and love for every individual being, plant, human, or concrete corner, they expand and becomes the entire cosmos in miniature, in which the exchange of divine energy takes place. I think for tourism industry experts and local authorities, a new task is inclusion of the intuitive thinking of the artists, which should creatively fertilize the world and spirit that a certain place offers them. What is important to say is that after researching this first project, in future my plan is to do a series of plays with various authors in two traditionally multicultural regions, Istria and Vojvodina. At this stage of the project, which was devised through the Earth Stations development workshop by Shadowcasters, Domino and True, is looking for support for the first project, which technically looks similar to research and creating a classical play with elements of game, where the rules of the game must be developed depending on the circumstances, and it is conceivable that these rules will later be applied to other performances as well. It can create a common image of place, regardless of the fact that the creators may be different. This means a process about 2 months of work on the spot with theater playwright, my colleagues who worked with me, Dimitrije Kokanov and Olga Dimitrijević, game dramaturgist, psychologist, a programmer and local historian, and of course the actors, only that this work does not take place in the theater hall, but in the selected city and its surroundings. The goal is that in the tourist offer of one region, tourists have the opportunity to go through several plays of prominent contemporary directors, like a kind of invisible monuments and energy hubs which outline the whole and which do not pollute the environment but enrich it creatively, through which we not only get to know a place but hopefully causes some kind of catharsis in us. In this moment, I am at the beginning of the production process. So far, I only had an introductory conversation with the local leader of Labin, and we agreed that to continue in more detail. Also, I plan to start conversation with representatives of Istrian and Vojvodinian tourism, and I would like to find institutions that would support me in the implementation of preparation of possible European application. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sabi. Thank you very much. It was a great presentation. And I invite everybody to comment. I would like Victoria to start. And then, of course, I would like everybody who feel like commenting to join us. Victoria, the floor is yours.
Hey, hi, yeah, thank you, Sabi. In general, I will say that obviously all 4 of you have some kind of line that connects the city as a stage and the stage as a city. And I saw that, and I'm kind of surprised, as if also maybe that was a topic. In this particular case, I have just a few questions from what I understood. My impression is that is quite a big project, and I hope that you will find a way to carry it. You mentioned big topics. I mean, through the metaphysics, through immersive theater, I'm trying to kind of wrap all of this in one kind of form that to me it has a huge potential to be some kind of sci-fi story, like very dystopian in a certain way, I found some kind of potential of a storytelling form. I don't know who is the person who is telling that story, but I assume you know much better. And the potential danger that I will think of if I'm doing this project is how deductive can be. Like, and in general, I would ask you, Sabi, if you think that how deductive art should be in general. Therefore, I'm connecting much more and watching your videos that you present, that there is something also sensual that you brought, even something poetic that you brought, but through the text, as if I could not really taste it. So I only saw it. So I will think of this relationality between these many forms that for me appeared during your presentation. That's it.
Thank you, Victoria. That's a great comment, and I think Sabi will have to think about it. Do you want to comment, Christina?
Should I extend?
Yeah, please.
I remember when Sabi first introduced the project, and then when we talked with Dimitrie, I really loved this idea. And again, now when I was following your presentation, Sabi, what I really liked is that you are using this format of a tourist walk through something that is quite disturbing. And it's not beautiful. And I think that there is much potential in it. And now when you were talking about this rethinking of what tourism is, because as I followed you, I knew this project from the start, but now there are so many layers, and now there is this play that is going on, and these videos with these actors and this love story and whatever. But now what I really picked up from your presentation as a potential, or maybe what struck me, was this kind of subversion of potential to subvert this format of touristic walk, that we are used to walking through something, everything is beautiful, we are listening to these local stories about love, about whatever, and whoop, Mussolini appears from somewhere. So I think that is something that now, after all these months of research, you come up to, and I think I really see this great potential in it, and I'm really interested to see how it's going on. And what really stayed with me from our initial talks, I don't know whether it was with you or with Dimitrie, is this position of you as authors who are not people coming from this city that you are talking about. I think that is something that it's really worth thinking about, because you are people from somewhere else. I presume that it's going to be a totally different approach when working in Vojvodina, for example, because you're from Subotica. But you are, in a way, a tourist here. You know, you came here. You have, I don't know, you mentioned you have a house there. And I think that it's also a potential for this project if you rethink your position as authors. Why you, from all the people, are going there where you are going and saying these stories about this place, and for what perspective, because you are not a native, let me say. So yeah, that would be my comment.
Thank you, Christina. I think I'm just recalling one term which maybe can be also used in this, which is a dark history, yeah, dark heritage, yeah, and it's very often now used both in heritage projects but also in art projects. So that's something to think. Yes, Adriana, please join us.
Okay, so I will be quick. Hopefully. So. I mean, this project it's a lot, and it has many layers. So it was kind of hard for me to really keep track of all of them. But what I heard and what struck me was that, first of all, there are existing tours such as yours with this like romantic history and non-massive tourism, but just like some individual tours just to show the history of the place. But what you have here is this dark history that Boris mentioned. And for me, the most interesting thing in this whole project is this mining topic, the topic of workers. So this place is now abandoned, and there were workers here all over, most of the time, and they died with this horrible death. So, and one thing I really have to add, because it would kill me if I didn't, is that your use of the feminine principle is wrong. Because if something looks like a vagina and is fertile, it's not really the feminine principle. You have to have something more than that to call it a feminine principle. So my suggestion would be not to pitch with that sentence anymore. And also what struck me is the story with this woman who walks through this abandoned minefield, which is really interesting that minefield still exists. But why is she here with a candle? When you talk about what the workers had to know, what the miners had to know about astronomy, about physics, these are the things that caught my attention. This girl, for me, is like she's looking for her fiancé, and she's not giving me anything. I'm not getting anything from her. So I think the story of Rasha and Labin is a really interesting one, and I think you're really onto something. But for me, my focus would be on this, on fascism and on the workers. And I would not use these romantic parts, because even though I see why it interests you, because it's a completely different narrative and could shock the audience, I don't think actually it would have the same effect. So yes, I'm done. So somebody else.
Thank you very much. This is really, really nice. And I think it's always the question of this twist. Yeah. What you, so sometimes the less is more. Would you like to comment or? Okay. Thank you.
I was thinking it was Sinisha saying something. But I was thinking in the way, I really agree what she said, because it's like not just on the level of the female principle, but also you have these poems in 19th century. I think the Baudelaire is the first one starting this, like sleeping beneath the mountain, which is actually a female body. So there is this kind of eternal return of Nietzsche, basically, which you also have, basically. So it's a question, what is to you this female principle? And I think that if you see this as a theatrical essay, then it can maybe work out if you want to keep everything. But then with these features like the story of a woman, then you should keep it within the documentary realm. You should not get out in feature. So if it's part of the history of mining, and then it can work out. But in the moment when it starts to be its own story, then it is just like out of the story. And thinking about the Kiriko and similar kind of examples, they do work for me, because the Kiriko was closed to futurism. He was close to fascism. Actually not, but people who didn't like him, he was put there basically. But what I personally like with the Kiriko in relationship to mining is that the Kiriko's paintings are very clear. They're very reduced. So the mining happens beneath them, basically, So this is what I like. And maybe in the poetical sense, especially in the poetics of essayistic poetics, it really works out. So I think this could be like theatrical essay that you can present there on this location. You can present some films, then you can do some performance, you can take people on tour, this kind of stuff. So I think it is rather a multimedia kind of essay or something.
Yes, thank you then. But I think it's also the question how you will trigger different things with the QR codes. There are a lot of fascist city, and there, for instance, if you go to Torviskoza, which is not far from Russia, from Russia, yes, from Russia. Yeah, I said Russia. No, because I've heard both two things with the same word. Yeah, and Torviskoza was also opened by Mussolini in the same way how Russia was opened. So there are several cities, even in the birthplace of Mussolini, Predapio, you have the same elements which you can then study. Natasha, would you like? Labrovic is here. Okay, Sinisha, please join us. Take off your mic is off. Yes, and take off your shirt, please.
Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Saul. I just wanted to point maybe a few things which was also mentioned by previous speakers. I believe it's also important this geography as a stage, in which role it should be, how can I say, also developed, presented, but also experienced. How, you know, to think about this geography as a stage also. And this kind of also for me, which is also important, relationship between history, the stories which will be presented, and the moment which they will experience, which, you know, the history and what's happening now, you know, the present moment, the present situation, the present reality, in which moments history happens, you know, is it parallel with the space and with the point, or different things like this, you know, which also open to the dramaturgy of the travel. And I believe it could be also danger that of too many stories, too many things which can come together. All of them can be interesting, but as we know, you know, this banal thing in the movie, they said all directors has like favorite scene which is removed from the movie, which is maybe the best scene, but still removed for the sake of dramaturgy and like all together in what happens. And I believe it's also important the relationship between the organizer, leader, or how, I don't know how we could call it, and the public. That should be also taken in, you know, what will be the role of the public? Will they just, how can I say, be the public, or will they also have a chance to play, whatever it means, you know, to think maybe the public also embody something of this, I don't know, stories or something, you know, to remove them, that they play in a way. Something like that. I don't know whether I clear.
Sinisha, thank you very much. I think you triggered another layer of this, and also the other shows which was presented here, which is the porosity of the dramaturgy, but also the role of the audience. Yeah, because by maybe solving the problem of too many styles, too many forms, and maybe dividing on a route. So if you want to test different forms, maybe you can divide that in formal chapters, but then the question which Sinisha raised is also: are you giving them roles? Are you giving them rules? Are you what kind of the role of the audience is? Or instructions, yeah. Natasha, Philip, Zvonimir. Huh? Short comments for the end. Just okay. Philip, come. Huh? Evo imamo. Evo. Okay. So.
Well, I can just say that I agree with you, with Lavrovic, with all of you. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, that you need to make some, to make some decisions and then live with them. Because if you have a lot of, you're just going around. But if you choose something, then probably that will grow, but from inside up. Okay.
And I think also what Sinisha also mentioned is this person who is leading the group. This is really somebody you should train, prepare for really heavy loaded journey. Yeah? And so you have to think about that. Are you going to make it easy? Are you going to make it harder? Philip?
I agree generally with the comments. Just one, I was inspired. It reminds me the format of this triathlon. Triathlon athletics competition.
Yeah.
You drive a bicycle, then you swim, and then you go on the mountain. So this kind of experience, and what Kika mentioned, this version of touristic format, I see here huge potential. So, for example, some people from, I don't know, Tokyo apply to see the performance, and they spend, 1 week in different experiences in your performance. So they come on some maybe touristic sightseeing, but they just like a comment on the format, maybe. I don't know if I'm clear, because there are different narratives. The city is very strong. So here you see, 5 performances, like one chapter Miners, the other chapter Mussolini. So for me, it's very, and maybe I'm thinking about these formats after a pandemic a lot, these experience-based projects, to spend time, to spend 10 days.
To be together.
Yeah, to be together. I will come from Bitola to be 10 days there, to experience the city. That's my interest, maybe.
It's difficult for me to speak about this project because I hate Russia and I hate the whole area. And I just, I heard this story of the workers, of the miners. I just cannot relate in that sense. That's why I liked the love story. That was what got me interested. And I thought, oh my God, this is some story. And then I was thinking maybe you can put a contemporary love story in that situation. We don't have to care about the miner, but any from the tablets or whatever. But just to say more from this hate of this region, everything falls apart in this region. Fascism, it fell. The love story, it died. The miners are gone. So maybe you just talk about through this, whatever is happening now, the mass tourism, it will go away. So it's a damned place, anyway, but that's why I was romantically or sentimentally more involved with the love story, actually. And then they don't find each other and, these kind of questions, more mythological.
We should bring to Russia to.
Yes. No, I don't know. It's sorry, but it's true. It's a horrible place. It's just, and we are so burdened with it. Every time you go there, the miners, those mines are horrible. They should have disappeared. Who mines anymore? I think we should not romanticize that history. And it's all ugly. The city for the miners was horrible. There's nothing nice about it in the whole. So just in that sense, because I sense a little bit of romanticization in this thing, the poor miners or whatever. They were all idiots to work there anyway. So, yeah.
Fantastic. I think this was really what was needed. Of course, I will give you, but there is a question of cruelty. So if you are not able to be cruel to yourself, if you are not able to be cruel to yourself, to audience and to your collaborators, you will not come out of this story. Yeah. And also there is something which Sinisha mentioned, which is, in fact, can be wrapped up in one sentence said by Tennessee Williams: kill your darlings. So how much you are sentimentally connected to some things, if this does not fit in the whole, throw them. Dan Oki, please.
I just wanted to give, I have a good title for his comment. It would be, the title would be Love in the Center of Anthropics. Or like, no, you don't like it.
I'm not so sure.
Okay, so
Close with the whole region.
thank you all very much. We are now having a break and then a little talk about digital transformation and media transformation of performance art. Who want to join us is welcomed. Yeah, but we have now half an hour break. Thank you, everybody on internet. Thank you, everybody here in the audience. See you soon.
Thank you.